Alright, I don't even know where to begin with this one. This is just another one of those episodes where you can make the argument that it can be a good episode, but I found it just a really not frustrating, because I've been using that word a lot. It's just been a trying episode to watch, but let's just see if I can try to best explain it. This is the Mud couple. So our episode begins at a comedy club with, of course, since Mud is in the title, it's with Mud, where she tells jokes. Nobody gets it except for Pinkie Pie, who's the only one that understands her sister.
Accumulation of sediments over millennia forming the great sandstone, shale, and breccia. It sounds something like this. And that's my time.
Well, admittedly, it did take me a couple years after her initial episode, and it took me a while to get used to her, so I'll just think about it. Alright, so I'm only going to mute this because I'm not going to skip the theme this time. Well, I'm not really going to show it, but basically, after the premiere episode, there's basically a new change up in the title. Well, the theme song is still the same. It's still the same lyrics and all that stuff. However, instead of taking shots more at Ponyville, it's now being shot at the newly formed Friendship School. Well, I wish I had more time to go into detail, but essentially it's basically Rainbow Dash in her Wonderbolt's outfit, then cutting over to the school, where we see the CMNC, Starlight, the Young Six, including Ember and Thorax. We see Sugar Belle and Big Mac together, and Maude in the background, and it basically cuts to Twilight opening up the doors of the Friendship School, where we then cut to Rainbow Dash at Wonderbolt Academy, Pinkie Pie in her own classroom at the school, Rarity at her Canterlot Boutique, Applejack in her classroom, and Fluttershy at her animal sanctuary with Discord chilling in the background. And then it cuts to the shot of Photo Finish taking a picture of every pony in the school photo that is sent over to Princess Celestia, Princess Luna, and now featuring Cadence, Shining Armor, and Flurry Heart. So, not much has changed in terms of like the opening theme song, but the opening has changed a lot. So then after the theme song, Pinkie tries to plan out a surprise party to try to spend time with Maude, but Maude says that she's busy and she has plans. So then we cut to tomorrow morning, where Pinkie tries to find Maude in her special cave, but Maude isn't around, so she goes around Ponyville, and even at one point Yakistan, to try to find her, and then meets up with Starlight to try to find out where she is.
Somebody here! No, it's just me, reading. Story checks out. Or doesn't! It does. But are you sure there's no pony hiding in your closet? Pinkie, I don't have a closet.
Yeah, so Starlight basically tells her to try to find Maude on her own because she's not around, and tries to plan out the surprise party, but then comes across this pony who, let's just say after a...
Drop 2 minutes before it closes for lunch.
Right. But I'm trying to find a party here and pop a ticking while you, what are you doing anyway?
I am currently speaking to a...
Can I help you move this along? What are you looking for? Roller pins, cupcakes, cut it to the bit?
Goodbye.
That's what you've been standing here all this time to say?
I was deciding between goodbye and see you later.
Okay. I am trying to be delicate, so just one failed comedy routine later, Pinkie basically comes across Maude again, and Maude explains, because something that I skipped over was she tried to tell Pinkie eat something the previous night, but we get the cliche where Maude tries to tell Pinkie something, but she doesn't listen. But basically, Maude tells Pinkie that she has a boyfriend, and it turns out that it is the pony that Pinkie just had a run-in with at the store, who is named Mud Brier.
Already met. Yes. Yes.
Alright, let's just get the big elephant in the room out of the way. If you probably saw prior to the introduction of Mud Brier by name, you could tell by his design and the way that his hair cut on his leg is that Mud Brier has a lot of uncanny similarities to Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. Here's the thing about myself. I like Big Bang Theory. I am not a huge fan of the show. I am not an expert on it. And if I'm being brutally honest, I do not like Sheldon Cooper as a character, or in the episodes that I have seen. And I guess that he's supposed to be annoying on purpose, but that does not make it an enjoyable experience for me. I'm bringing this into context because, as I said, Mud Brier's characteristics are exactly similar to Sheldon Cooper. So just to clarify for anyone who hasn't guessed it yet, basically, they made a Sheldon Pony. Now, I was just being merciful and skimming over a lot of Mud Brier's dialogue. I will give him the benefit of the doubt for something that we will cover later in the episode, but even at the introduction while watching this episode prior, it literally felt like Sheldon Cooper was in the room pony form.
I'm sorry. Let's start over. Hi, I'm Maud's sister, Pinkie Pie.
I know.
So, how did you two meet?
That is a good question.
At a rock show.
Oh, you're into rocks too?
No. I like sticks.
Then why were you at a rock show?
It was a petrified wood show, which technically makes it a stick show.
Except that in the permineralization process of petrification, all organic material is replaced with silicates.
So, yes, I will give them this, that we do already get to see hints how happy Mud Brier makes Maud. So, you kind of get where this episode is going, and it kind of feels incredibly forced at this point. Because we do see how Mud Brier makes Maud happy, but Pinkie Pie is pretty much like how pretty much myself and majority of the fandom was like when we first met Maud back in Season 4, where we just couldn't get her. Now with the introduction of Mud Brier, she doesn't understand why Maud likes him so much.
That's great for him. Oh, you want to go first?
That is stick abuse.
It is? I'm sorry. Oh, this is awful. I have not been a very good sister. Let's start over. I'm Pinkie Pie. Nice to meet you.
Technically, we've already met.
I understand that is the point, but I can't get over the fact that they really just made a character out of Sheldon Cooper. I don't even know when Big Bang Theory originally aired, but hey, DHX, I'm assuming that it was happened. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just search it up myself. Big Bang Theory show. Okay, when did this damn thing first aired? September 2007. So basically, DHX, you're almost a decade late to the party on that front.
You should introduce Pinkie to your pet.
So yeah, and we already know where this is going to lead to, where Mud Brier has the exact same characteristics as Maud, where basically he shares an inanimate object as a pet.
They're adorable.
Just a stick.
Don't be rude.
I'm sorry. One more time. I'm Pinkie Pie. Nice to meet you.
Technically, we've already met.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I know that that's supposed to be the purpose, and he's supposed to be annoying on purpose, but if I'm being perfectly honest...
I think I can actually feel my soul dying inside me.
Yeah. This is honestly how I feel while watching this episode and watching Mud Brier on screen. And as I said, I get that's supposed to be the point, But what happens now feels incredibly forced because Pinky now basically goes on and rants to Starlight of how much she doesn't like Mud Brier and how he has nothing in common with Maud.
How can you like someone so weird? He's an inanimate object for a cat. So does Maud. Older has 10 times the personality of some random dick.
And like I said, this basically gets to the point where it feels like this whole plot then becomes forced because Pinky feels like she has to be this overprotective sister, even though technically Maud is supposed to be the older sister. And like I said, I get where this episode is going, but it doesn't make it really an enjoyable experience because you just kind of want to fast forward all the predictable stuff, as basically Pinky is just not getting what makes Mud Brier so attracted to Maud.
That also sounds like Maud. You're so funny, Starlight. Maud is nothing like Mud Brier. If she were, then we wouldn't be best sister friends forever.
So Starlight then suggests to basically try to hang out with Maud to plan out the party cave, and essentially while Starlight tries to spend time with Maud. And we get to see the return of the party cave as Mud Brier is...
Party planning cave.
Technically, due to the speleothems growing from the ceiling, this is more of a cavern than a cave. Maud taught me that.
Yeah. Here's where I'm thinking for her surprise party. Edible rock candy plate, jam-shaped ice cube, a double pinata. Let's get that one.
Might I make some suggestions?
Oh, suggest away. That's why you're here. You and me, planning together. Friends.
I have a vision board of everything Maud loves, and none of those things are on it.
Alright, so then basically we kind of get what Mud Brier does is essentially envision a vision board, something that he would imagine inside his head, since I'm assuming they're probably dating for like, I would like to think about a few months now.
Large door of my mind. The Maud room. None of those things are there. Just as I thought, Maud doesn't like surprises.
And Pinky, meanwhile, takes everything as literally.
It sounds like she was protecting your feelings. She's very caring that way.
Stop acting like you know my sister better than me.
Technically, I never said that.
Okay, couple things. First of all, I know that he constantly says technically, but at this point, with the way that he constantly says it, all I'm just going to think is,
oh my god, will someone just put him on dish duty for the rest of the day?
yeah. And secondly, this is the point where the episode just becomes really forced to watch, because we just basically see Pinky just not, basically trying to then turn it into a contest of how she feels that she understands Maud better than Mud Brier. You would think that after the events of Pinky Pride, you would think that she would be willing to put her ego aside and try to work it out with Mud Brier and try to get to know him more. If she would be willing to do that and not constantly do...
Well, technically, I don't care. I've been best sister friends forever with Maud my entire life. I think I'm the expert here.
If Pinky was willing to drop all of this whole contest in dick measuring would be over.
Oh, but for us, if you don't believe me, let's ask her. But we have to be super sneaky.
Can you be more specific?
No!
So then we cut to Starlight and Maud flying kites as Pinky brings Mud Brier to put an end to this contest of dick measuring.
Brier. I'm Starlight Glimmer. Nice to meet you. I've heard great things. I'm so glad the two of you are spending time together. So, how's it going?
Mud Brier and I have just spent the best time bonding. And we're
The best time bonding or the best time with basically contests of who loves Maud more. And kind of making it an insufferable experience. Okay, well, it's not that bad, but whatever.
starting to make some headway, becoming besties. Except for one teeny disagreement that maybe you could settle on. See, Mud Brier here seems to think that he has no nice surprise party. Isn't it funny how wrong he is?
Are you finished yet?
If only. So basically, Maude then basically settles the disagreement once and for all, and basically revealed that she only likes the prize party because it knows it makes Pinky happy. And Pinky does not take it well.
What's wrong with you, Starlight, Boulder, and Mud Brier for my birthday?
Honestly, I think that's kind of what I just kind of want to do for my birthday, since literally at the time of this recording, I'll probably be I'll be 26 in about a few weeks from now. But yeah, basically Maude wants to have more of a small gathering and not so big extravaganza, and of course Pinky doesn't take it all that well.
So, party? Did he put you up to this?
You know what, forget it.
Maybe you should consider, I don't know, taking things a little less serious with Mud Brier, because he's kind of, sort of, impossible to like!
Hey, Mud Brier, have you ever...
I will give this episode this. I do like how Starlight recognizes what Pinky's trying to do and trying to keep Mud Brier's feelings intact, or lack thereof, tries to de-escalate the situation, while Pinky, on the other hand, is not making things good.
blown a kite? Let me tell you all about it. See, the first thing you should do is...
I just can't believe you would choose sitting around with him over a party with your own sister!
I didn't choose either of you. Technically, I said I wanted to be with both of you.
Technically? Oh, you even like the way he talks?
Everything about him makes me happy.
Then I guess you don't need a best sister friend forever anymore.
Pinky. Wait, let's all slow down and talk about this.
See you later!
I'm sorry. There's literally almost nothing for me to comment on because you could tell where this episode is basically going. And while, yes, I do think that it's a good point that this episode needs to talk about that if your sibling, parent, whatever, is dating someone you don't like, you're gonna have to deal with it. But I just can't get past the whole Sheldon... And I understand that he's supposed to be annoying on purpose, but there's just a lot of things that just really drag this episode down to the point where it's just really, really, really boring. Okay, so essentially Pinky then once again overreacts and goes back to her rock farm and talks with both Marble Pie and Limestone to explain what's going on.
Friend, I'm not jealous. Who said anything about jealous?
Okay, I do like Limestone being jealous.
Don't be. He's super duper weird. And somehow he tricked Maude into liking him, and now we'll never get to see her again.
But then Limestone actually gives a pretty good metaphor about the rocks and the gems, as, once again, Pinky tries to take it literally, but Limestone basically gives a metaphor of how Maude sees Mud Brier.
No, wait. It doesn't.
It's a metaphor, Pinky. You see Mud Brier as a rock, but Maude sees him as a gem. Even if you never see past his dullness, you can see how happy he makes Maude. And to his sister, that's all that matters.
And honestly, I think that's a really good, understandable metaphor, where even if there's somebody that you personally have a lot in common with, if they really, really like somebody that they do like and you don't understand why, you have to understand that you may see that person as the rock, but to the person you like, they are the gem that lights them up. And that they make them happy, and it's something that you have to accept. So this causes Pinky to go back and help out with Maude's party and Mud Brier.
It's a quirkus, most likely Castaniophobia.
Oh, come on! Hurry! Get together!
And I love a good quirkus. Friends?
Alright, so like I said, even in spite of some of the moments where I use some of those clips to describe Mud Brier and how I feel about the characterization, as I said earlier, I do think that Mud Brier is pretty much more likable than Sheldon because he's at least not oblivious to his behavior and his constant actions, where he actually recognizes his own quirks and is willing to basically try to make the person he loves happy. happy, and he recognizes the quirks, and he shows why he loves Mud so much.
Now, do you have any ideas for the party?
There is one.
So then they basically put their differences. They basically then decide to put basically on their own party for Mud. Yeah. So basically it turns out, well, it would seem on the surface that the party was set up. It seems that Pinky basically set at the party for Mud all the way out near the town hall, while Pinky, Mud Brier, and Mud are basically sitting in the foliage watching the party from afar.
This is my favorite party ever.
It was all your amazing boyfriend's idea. He said the best present would be me throwing you a surprise party you didn't have to go to.
Technically, it wasn't a surprise because she could see the pre-party preparations from up here.
Technically, you're right.
Alright. So that was the Mud couple, and while I will give this episode credit, it wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be on the last review, near the end of the last review, and it's not bad as some other episodes this season. It's not bad, but I don't know. I think this episode is just okay. Not good, not bad, just okay. I will give this episode this. There are some things I do like about this episode. I really like how we get more into Maud's character, how essentially now she's being more of the adult pony. I do like the metaphor with the rock and the gems that Limestone showed in the episode, and I do like the moral in saying that even though if there's somebody that you meet that you really don't like, if they're dating your sister, your parent, whoever, if there's somebody that makes them happy, you have to be willing to compromise and try to basically move. And as I said, I do think that in spite of a lot of the Sheldon characteristics, I do think Maud's boyfriend in Mud Brier is a somewhat likable character in comparison to Sheldon, and the reason why I said somewhat. But the part I don't like about this episode is the fact that we just constantly know where things are going to go after we get to see Mud Brier and how he has a lot in common. And that the second act just feels incredibly forced, where we see Pinky just kind of being very overprotective and stalkerish, even though, as I said earlier, Mud is technically supposed to be the older sibling. And Pinky's just being kind of uncharacteristically not understanding Mud Brier when he's pretty much exactly like Mud. And even then, a lot of Mud Brier's dialogue, while I get that the intention that it is supposed to be annoying, it doesn't make it an enjoyable experience for you. You saw my reactions throughout this review, and you saw all that I had to sit through. I understand that, some people like the cartoon hero can make the argument that it is a good episode, but you saw all that I had to sit through, and at the end of the day, I can understand why some people would do like this episode, and I can see those hints of nuggets. But it's really, at the end of the day, this episode is just not my cup of tea. Call it a love or hate thing. I think just at the end of the day, the only fair thing that I can do, because I can see more of the positives compared to when I first watched it, when this episode first came out, but I didn't like this episode as much as everybody else did. So, as I said, call it a love-hate thing with the Mud couple, and at the end of the day, I think, from my point of view, I think the only fair thing to do is that this episode has to get a C+. Because there are some good things about this episode that I do like, but not everything was enjoyable to watch. And it felt like I really wanted to fast forward a lot of stuff that was going on. Especially some of Brier's dialogue, which, again, I understand it's supposed to be the point, but it just made me want to fast forward through the majority of the episode and just get to the important part. And that's not a good sign in a good episode. So yeah, as I said, Ed, I will admit, the Mod couple is better on a second watch compared to when I first watched it, but honestly, this episode is okay. It's not particularly bad, but it's not particularly good. And at the end of the day, I have to give the Mod couple a C+. Alright, so hopefully now I can find an episode that's somewhat better. I mean, mediocre is better than bad, but let's just get into the next one on the next recording. So next time we will be looking at Fake It Till You Make It. See you guys next time. Bye.